Welcome to Hidden History. We're thrilled to have you here with us on this journey of exploration and discovery. This is a place where we delve into the unseen, the forgotten, the overlooked, those pockets of time that went unnoticed in the grand scale of human history. Like and subscribe for even more overlooked events in history that you won't find anywhere else. Have some hidden history you'd like for us to look into and share? Let us know in the comments. Now let's get to it. In the late part of the 14th century, under the cover of dusk, a tradition of significant importance was ignited. This wasn't just a spectacle, it was an event that would carve a deep impression in the Venetian culture. Battagliole sui ponti was about to erupt. In this world, Venetian craftsmen and labourers morphed into fearsome warriors, their hearts thumping with adrenaline as they dove into thrilling simulated battles. The custom of staged combat, or battagliole, gained prominence from the waning years of the 14th century until the breaking of the 18th century. Hordes of labourers, dressed in armour and brandishing shields, would dive headfirst into hour-long disorderly fights, wielding nothing but wooden sticks and pride. These confrontations were not for the weak, often resulting in injuries and sometimes death. Early accounts of these stick fights were chronicled in the records of Venetian history as early as 1369. However, these battles found a permanent home on the city's bridges in 1421, earning them the name battagliole sui ponti, or small battles on the bridges. These meticulously organized battles, known as guerre ordinate, varied from private duels to minor confrontations that drew hundreds, if not thousands, of spectators. Some were so grandiose that they required days of preparation, attracting vast crowds of spectators. The scale of these events was so grand that the Venetian government would showcase them for their distinguished guests. From Turkish diplomats to Japanese ambassadors, a diverse array of foreign dignitaries witnessed the fierce battles fought by Venice's labourers and craftsmen for the domination of just one of Venice's many bridges. In one notable battle that took place in 1574, one of these bridge battles involving 600 Venetian artisans was staged for the French king, Henry III. The participants were predominantly from the local neighbourhoods that make up Venice. However, these battles weren't just spectacles. They were significant events that served as a testament to a deeply rooted tradition that showcased territorial pride amongst Venetians. These clashes became a common sight in and throughout many Italian cities, signifying much more than just a game or a mock war for the proud Venetians. They were a symbol of societal unity and held great importance in Venetian life. This was not merely a spectacle, but an act of utmost significance, drawing participants from all walks of life. Mere play battles could easily spiral into full-scale riots. A single dagger drawn in anger could spark a frenzy that could engulf the entire city. Personal pride and group loyalty sparked these escalating confrontations, strong enough to challenge even the highest authorities of the Republic's central administration. To an unacquainted observer, the spectacle might appear exhilarating and chaotic. Yet, at their heart, these bridge battles were laden with tension and danger. The clashing sides faced the same threats and anxieties as any war zone. The impending danger of injuries from knocked-out teeth, dislocated jaws, gouged eyes, crushed ribs and crippled limbs was a cruel reality. Despite this, the participants advanced, propelled by an intrinsic pursuit of honor and glory and territorial pride. As the sun sank below the horizon, cloaking Venice's grand battles with twilight hues, nobility and commoners would retreat, leaving behind a battlefield reverberating with the echoes of their enthusiasm or the silence of their defeat. The climax of the bridge battles was a grand display of honor, excitement and bloodshed, a testament to the intense factional loyalty and rivalry deeply intertwined in Venice's unique cultural tapestry. But as the dust settled and the echoes faded, one truth remained. The fate of the combatants was shaped by the cheers and jeers of spectators, bridging the gap between the city's elite and its labouring class. The 18th century saw a groundbreaking shift in Venice's battle culture. Gone were the days of the city's zeal for bridge battles, once resonating with thrilling vigour and suspense, which started to dissipate. A period of raw, bare-knuckled pugni fights came into the limelight, their grace and prowess eclipsing the fiery spirit that once defined the city's cherished but brutal bridge battles. These violent bridge battles, previously teeming with life on event days, saw a notable decrease in fanfare, and the contagious thrill of match day no longer prevailed. The intricate preparations, careful planning of secure routes to the bridge locations, and the leadership roles of faction heads and padrini or godfathers all began to diminish. This downfall was not simply due to the emergence and immense popularity of pugni battles, but was also significantly influenced by the disapproval of local nobility. As the century continued, their sway grew stronger, surpassing that of the city officials or the faction leaders. This inevitably began the transition from the military-like battagliole sui ponti to the now favoured and more civil guerra dei pugni. Even as the old traditions began to fade, and a new tradition emerged, Venetian pride and honour remained of the utmost importance. As these single-combat duels became more and more popular, the pugni or boxers would wear leather or even paper chest armour and prided themselves on their fine dress. Later they began to go bare-chested, wrapping their shirts around their waists to protect their kidneys from punches. The fighters would typically wear only one padded glove or guanti of soft or hardened leather on their right hand, but by the end of the 1600s wore two gloves. Sometimes their gloves were even secretly sewn with lute strings so as to rapidly bloody an opponent's face. The object of the mostra was not to score a knockout or to deliver powerful punches, but to bloody the opponent by a hit to the nose, lip, or face. The boxing fights, or cimenti, were divided into rounds during which the combatants returned to their respective corners. The rounds were known as assalti, assaults, or salti, jumps or dances. The fighter or duelista fought for his personal honor and reputation. Display was important and each fighter was expected to show himself well. In these boxing matches, the crowds evidently were most pleased by contestants who stood their ground and took blows to their face unflinchingly, striking out cleanly, without too much dancing or fencing around. Or as the Venetians called it, troppo gioco nella scherma. The cult of the pugni was about the value of the individual and his prowess, aggressiveness and proper conduct. These champions were treated as star athletes, being welcomed by wealthy patrons and nobles as heroes as important as any victorious soldier. Like star athletes, the best champions would gain fame and fortune all over the city. Their image would be lionized and depicted in paintings, cartoons and effigies. The Guerra di Cane turned Guerra di Pugni represent a part of Venice's storied past that is rarely spoken about or taught outside of Venice today. If you happen to visit the city known as La Serenissima or Serene One today and cross one of its hundreds of bridges, try to imagine just what a spectacle it must have been. Even today, traces of the bridge battles can be found throughout the city. From the bridge designated as the Ponte dei Pugni in the Dorsoduro neighborhood, to the foot impressions found in what would have been the fighters' corners on the bridge, the honor and pride of this ancient tradition lives on. There you have it. If you enjoyed this episode and want to continue this journey with us, then you can show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. It takes just a second, but it means the world to us. Your support helps us create more content and helps us reach more history enthusiasts like you. Till next time, when we explore even more hidden history.